It's been a minute and I haven't really even been sharing posts. I've been taking a little hiatus. I'm newly an empty nester, so I just was decompressing from that change in my life that happened back in August. But I'm here, and I think it's timely because we just had the election and emotions are running high. People are stressed about the implications of our new leadership in this country. And I want to talk about what can we do. And I'm making a little shift in the Visible Creative podcast to talk about not just having a creative business, which I still think is valuable and important and worthwhile to develop and create, but also about how our creative gifts, whatever they are, can help our community. And getting visible within our communities, online, but also IRL or in, person, is valuable and important to do. And we can hold ourselves back from even doing that. So I'm going to be talking more broadly on the podcast about different examples of how this can be done. And starting in 2025, my project 2025 is interviewing local creatives, spiritual healers, and practitioners about their gifts and how they have come to share them. So I have some people in mind who I really admire. I already have one person on the calendar to be interviewing. But for today, so that's the intro, the new intro for the Visible Creative Podcast. But for today, what I want to talk about is 2 levels of getting visible. So, there are fundamentals to being visible in a public sphere, whether it's in your community or whether it's online. Hi, Funny Hall 32. Thank you for joining live. I'm back for first time in a long time. The first fundamental way that we get visible is by being ourselves and moving past perfectionism, that we have to be some certain kind of way as we share our gifts. And that if we are imperfect, flawed, human, that this can feel vulnerable. But our vulnerability is actually, it's our authenticity, and it's what people connect with. We don't connect with some perfect caricature of a human. That becomes corporate or bland or watered down. It's not real, and it feels dull or dead to us. So I know that I worked for many years in my life to be perfect, and really this was masking self-doubt and self-disapproval, right? And so as I've come into more confidence, I've realized, hey, I don't have to get it perfect. I don't have to show up in one specific way determined by who knows who, right? What is it anyway when it's this nebulous thing outside of us? So the first level of visibility is about recognizing that and realizing that our authenticity is what is magnetic, that when we show up with all of us, all our quirks and all our edges. So, when we think of somebody being edgy, right, it's like they have maybe a controversial opinion, or they have certain triggers. They get angry about things, or they get stressed about things, or, they're messy in some way. That is part of our totality. And that is what people are going to be able to relate to when it comes to your creative gifts, your work, your art you're putting in the world, your creativity, in problem solving for our community, if you're working in the nonprofit sphere or you're developing a business, whatever area where you're channeling your gifts. Maybe it's just your friends and family. I know I should say just, that's the most important place to be sharing your gifts fully. This authenticity has power. Okay, and so this is the first level. And, this perfectionistic stuff that I said I've, been working on overcoming throughout my life, it's a big one for women. and for those of us who have been socialized as women, because prioritizing the needs, wants, and others, and here's the big one, opinions and emotional state of others is what we were taught to do specifically. You've got to think of others. You've got to be kind. Don't ruffle any feathers. You've got to think how so-and-so, what they might think about that, or that might hurt their feelings if you have that opinion, for example. And so we are really held back in this area. And one trick, so I'm going to share some tips today about how to make this easier to show up authentically. The first tip is a mind tip, and it is about, imagine if you are a woman or socialize as a woman, and put yourself in the mindset if you were not. If you were socialized as a man, what might you say or do? What might you give yourself permission to do? So men and boys, it's not like they're never taught to be kind, but they are praised for having a point of view, for being strong in their opinions, for voicing those opinions, for standing up for themselves and saying, hey, this is my place in the sand where I'm putting down my foot. And so that's actually what I'm talking about here. Being authentic is having a point of view. And so just giving yourself permission, just saying, okay, part of my socialization is keeping me from actually taking a stand here. That can help to think of that. For me, I become like an activist, a feminist activist about it. Hi, Marcy Redhead. Thanks for joining. I'm live again. I'm talking about being visible and authentic in our communities, sharing our gifts, and taking a stand with our point of view. Whenever we do that, some will agree with us and move closer. Some will disagree and maybe move further away, and others will be neutral. Like, it's just, whatever, you think that's not really an important, thing in my world. And that's fine. It doesn't matter what the point of view is. We're going to have that, different effect on people. And this is about kind of recognizing that is another thing that can help, that not everybody we're not for everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. And giving ourselves permission to be who we are, show who we are to others, and let the chips fall where they may. See who is still standing in our world when we do that. And guess what? That's our people. Okay, so the second tip for making this easier to be more authentic, to be more real, to share our gifts fully, our perspective, our point of view, has to do with the body. So those first tips were about mental arena. This is the body, and by definition, anytime we are creating something new, it inherently has some risk to it. For not risk like a saber-toothed tiger, like they always talk about with our nervous system, but risk in the sense of it's new. And even if it's something that lots of people are doing, you're coming out as an energy healer, let's say, or coming out doing abstract art, or as a musician, it's coming through your lens, your point of view. That's what makes it new, and that's what makes it inherently feel vulnerable or risky to the body. So understanding that, not beating yourself up for that, and using body relaxation techniques throughout the process of sharing before, during, after, whatever you can remember, or can feasibly do that. Things like deep breathing, of course, movement, stretching, soothing music, lotion with self-massage, and safety self-talk. It's safe for me to show who I am. It's safe for me to do this. Now, of course, that safety is, depends on your particular, let's say, family situation. There are times when maybe it's not safe to say your whole mind to everybody that's, say, in your family or even in your neighborhood. But, generally it's safe to do this. I just want to say that, but I want to acknowledge there are some situations when it's better to not share everything. I do recognize that. So that relaxation piece can help with any self-blame we might have around feeling nervous, sharing our creative expression. Like, it's normal to feel that way because we're doing something new. We're stepping out of the box, right? The third strategy, or I guess actually it's the fourth strategy, is in the spiritual realm. And this, for me, has to do with our connection to others. So we never know how we might be inspiring someone else. So maybe you're doing something that others really aspire to do, and they look at you and they say, ooh, look at them. They're really talking about it. They're really doing it. I want that too. And actually, when we feel jealous of others, I always like to reframe that for myself as like, oh, that's a true desire. I want that too, right? So anyway, we could be inspiring others to do the same thing we're doing. The other piece is maybe somebody wants to do something very different than what you're doing, but they come from your same ethnic, cultural, racial, or socioeconomic background. So they see you being real, sharing, saying the hard things, really putting yourself out there in a big way, and they think they come from the same background as me, and they're doing it. I can do it too. And that's where this level of visibility is about sharing the background. Not just how we look on the surface, but more of our story, and again, our point of view, our perspectives, where we come from. So those voices are so important. And to me, that's a spiritual thing that motivates me to share more, because I think, oh, I never know if this is inspiring somebody else, Any questions or comments for anyone that is still here with me? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Just put that invitation out to you, or just give me an emoji if this resonates. The second level of visibility goes beyond just sort of who you are and more to what you're sharing. And this is inherently about setting a boundary or making some decisions about who your art is for, who your healing modality is for, who your community program is for. And as soon as we decide who would be the best fit for what we're offering, thank you, Marcy, for that smiley face emoji. As soon as we decide, we're leaving others out. And so this can feel, again, with that socialization of like, oh, I have to include everyone. Well, what if this person needs me or that person, right? And we have to say like, no. And this isn't about, well, I want to go a little further into this. This is essentially your niche, okay? And it does apply to music, art, healing, coaching. If you're a therapist, if you're a community, organizer, it is a niche. It's like for some people and not for others, just like that point of view thing was, as I stated earlier. You want to understand at this point, what is that other person or those other people, what are they dealing with? What is their point of view? It may be similar to yours or maybe not. Maybe they resonate with what you're doing, but they're not from the exact same point of view. What lights them up? What are they excited about? How do they communicate? What words are they using? Getting clear about this helps with the communication piece of it, and where to communicate, where to be showing up, being visible. And this is not about contorting yourself to, they need this, so let me show up like that. Again, where our baseline is that authenticity. This is about finding the match. Okay, so it is essentially a two-way street or two-way thing. You might find this out through customers, clients, fans you already have, your experience working with them. It could be imagining who this might be for, if you're just starting out. And it's sort of like analyzing and getting more specific. It's more refined and more detailed. And it's not that you leave the authenticity part out of it, but the authenticity might be like, I don't know why I always use this example. I like mint chocolate chip ice cream. Like, that's a point of view, right? That could be so general. It has nothing to do with, the teachings I'm giving here who might benefit from it, right? But it's just like a little factoid about me, a little something about me. Let's see. Then, of course, that's not a very risky one, I will admit. What might be a more risky one? I like it to be vegan. Yeah, I like the vegan mint chocolate chip ice cream, so I'll just put that one out there. So just like you're not for everybody in our personal lives, we're not for our business, or our offerings are not for everybody. And who we're serving can evolve over time, so that can change and get refined just like we develop over time ourselves. So I think that's all I had to say today about these two levels of visibility. I'm going to publish this on the podcast and also here on Instagram and YouTube. So there you go. It's in all the places. If you are wanting, if you're working on a creative project and you're having trouble getting to completion, you find yourself stuck along the way, I have a free ebook, Finish Your Creative Project, Get It Done, and it has similar strategies today, mind, body, spirit strategies to make the process easier wherever you are, middle, getting started, or finishing, finally ending that thing. And I have a brand new offer I'm super excited about. It's called the Kitchen Table Collab, and that's how you can work with me right now. We sit down at the proverbial kitchen table. It's actually online or a big table at the library. Since I live in a small apartment, I don't have a giant kitchen table. That's sort of my dream vision there. And this would be a space for moving forward on a creative community or business project that you have where you want support, getting clear on what the project is, the aspects of it, how to move forward with getting visibility, and how to do it with ease so that you're not suffering till it's done. So many of us wait for the outcome to feel good. That's not. The magic is in the process, enjoying each step of the way. And so I have a passion of sharing how to do that with others. So if you're interested in working with me at a kitchen table collab, there is a link in my bio to read more about it, what's involved, and to get on a consult to talk about your situation and see if we're fit to work together. And until next time, aloha and take care. Bye for now.